This protest was seen in Venezuela recently. There are a lot of people who might have been thinking, why did this happen? And who is responsible behind this? What will be the future of Venezuela? Are people protesting here just because of inflation, just because of policing, just because of poor leader? I think third option is right. People are protesting here just because of the dictatorship of Maduro. Sometimes we know only that the dictators are staying in North Korea, Bangladesh, China, Russia. Have we ever tried to learn that these dictators can be anywhere? You were right. Now we are going into this topic so deeply, where we will understand how the dictator of Venezuela dictating the country and openly said, if I lose this election, I would kill every single individual in Venezuela. You have clicked into the right video. If you are trying to learn current affairs and trying to, grasp and make an amazing grasp over current affairs, believe me, this channel is absolutely perfect for you. Along with current affairs, we talk on book reviews, we talk on general topics, we talk on public speaking, English, language skills, and a lot of stuff. Before jumping into this video, I would like to tell you one thing which I believe very heartily. Do not skip this video, watch till the end. Why? Because half learning is dangerous. When you learn something very little, that means you learn nothing, and then you will have nothing to speak of. So now we are going to learn this conflict on this video very deeply. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, subscribe it. Wait. If you have found very interesting this subject, then subscribe to this YouTube channel. Either just watch till the end. So, for a man who supposedly won an election, Venezuela's president Nicolas Maduro looks worried. The gaudy tracksuit he sported during much of the campaign has been swept for a solemn business suit. He seems irritable and exhausted in the repeated television's rants in which he rails against fascist enemies. Days after a rigged election, it remains unclear whether he can remain in power. Mr. Maduro's problem is that he has been busted. Everyone from the army to his, erstwhile left-wing Latin American allies now knows just how unpopular he is. By the way, Latin America once was one of the richest, you can say, nation in Latin America. An overwhelming majority of Venezuelans voted against him on July 28, even though he bared the most popular opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado. So in upcoming clips, the lady you can see on the truck or many more places where she is speaking something against Mr. Maduro, that lady is nobody except the leader who was defeated, formally defeated, or you can say not defeated, cheated, or you can say, frauded by, Mr. Maduro. So her name is Maria Corina Machado. So from running, he is still lost by a landslide. A little-known former diplomat, Edmundo Gonzalez, stood in for Miss Machado. The two are working closely together. Where Mr. Maduro concedes defeat, depends on three interconnected factors. The first is domestic unrest. The second concerns attempt by Brazil, Colombia, and Mexico to jointly mediate solutions between the oppositions and the regime. Literally, I was quite shocked saying, like Mr. Maduro was saying, like my brother Brazil and Lula da Silva, the person who got retired. The Lula da Silva is the person who was just standing for me. But recently in video, Lula da Silva clearly said, we are not recognizing Maduro's government anymore. That means even Brazil raised its hand Brazil, raised its hand instead of accepting that somehow Venezuela held an impartial election. So look at that. Even Brazil is not standing with it. The willingness of regime to take part in talks hinges on third factor, the loyalty of the armed forces. And even the armed forces, some of the party members of Mr. Maduro raised their hands and say, we are not supporting Maduro anymore because we believe that he did not hold the election properly, and that election was clearly rigged. And I think Mr. Gonzalez was making a clear victory, but he did not accept his victory. And I have never seen any ridiculous leader in my whole life who is on TV and on air challenging the whole audience and somehow threatening them, if you would not select me as a leader of this country in this election, you would take a bath on a bloodshed. Look at that. I have never heard any of leaders in the world in my whole life who have directly addressed the whole nations and threatening them that if you would not vote me, all of you will be killed. Have you ever seen any leader in your whole life like that? No, right? This is what happened. We start with the demonstrations. The opposition has sought to prove that the election was stolen by the election actors, despite concentrated effort to stop them. Volunteer smuggles acts out in some cases by stuffing them into their underpants. Although the oppositions collected 4/5 of the printouts and put them online, they saw that Mr. Gonzalez received over 7 million to Mr. Maduro's parliamentary 3 million. So Mr. Maduro's secured 3 million votes. Even I have got a doubt on this, that he really won this elections by 3 million votes, but let's assume that he got 3 million votes into these elections. But what about the Mr. Gonzalez, who got 7 million votes in these elections, 4 million more than Mr. Maduro, but still he was not announced the winner of this parliament. Why? Because Maduro is the one who always dictate not only the people of the Venezuela, he always dictate the big companies, and even though sacred Supreme Court as well. Yes, he also dictates Supreme Court and even the like election bodies, elections ballots. Even those people who were taking the vote, somehow they were being heard sometimes saying to the common people, do not forget your missions and cast your vote to Maduro. Look at that. What a stupidity is that? He not only dictated people, he dictated, like you can say election commission, he dictated every single senior body over there, which is responsible for letting Mr. Maduro's make a clean victory on it over Gonzalez and over, like Miss Morena. So far, the oppositions remain astonishingly brave. Under threats of arrest, Mr. Mercado has gone into hiding. Yet, at rally in the capital on August 3rd, a figure cloaked in a white hood clambered up onto a track, suddenly unveiling herself. Venezuela will be free soon, proclaimed Miss Mercado to a crowd of tens of thousands. After the speech, she melted into the traffic on the back of the motorbike. So now the people are in absolutely fear. Just look at that. If Maduro continues to be the prime minister of this country, look at that. What will come next for this person? Those people who are standing against Maduro, somehow they will be arrested. Somehow they will be deported from the country. That is one of the worst part, and people getting scared of. So outside powers means are trying to maintain the pressures. Even the United States said we will put some sanction on Venezuela if Mr. Maduro will not step down from the power. So even he's not listening to the people, what people are exactly talking about, right? So his main concern is to make people fear. His main concern to make people outraged. His main concern means his main motive, I would say, to just put a big elephant into the room so that people will get scared of his dictatorship and nobody would come forward to raise his volume against this person anymore. This is what he is willing to do. So their task is friendly, difficult, not least because the strategy has holes. The trio less united than the Sims. None of the deadlines has been set for the regime to produce evidence on voting counts. None of the countries, whether we talk about Brazil, Mexico, or any other brothers, any other countries, the countries which have considered brother by Mr. Maduro, came forward and accepted that Maduro is holding an good election. That the same thing happened in Mexico. By the way, if you look at Maduro's, he is saying that these three countries are his brothers, and these all three countries have got an allegations of not conducting an election properly. So what are you expecting? So if a thief is saying then another thief will come and save me, this is absolutely ridiculous. But the main concern that Mr. Maduro might have got this fear that if I left this post now after being defeated by 4 million votes, I might get arrested or I might end up in prison. But this is not the case. Even the opposition leader made this thing very clearly that if you will step down from the position, we will not make any complaint against you and we will let you go very, very easily. Whether you want to live in this country, you will have a proper and tightened security guards around you and you will get the bungalow. None of the things will be stolen from you and you will successfully able to leave this country as you wish. So even the opposition's leaders made this, like you can say, conditions, make this kind of proposals for this person's Mr. Maduro, but he is kind of headstrong to not leave the position. Do you think that something will happen? What exactly happened there in Bangladesh with him? So do you think like does he deserve to be treated like this by the protesters? I don't know what is going to happen. That is why protesters being like held a march all over the Venezuela, where they were demanding the resignation of Mr. Maduro, and this is what exactly happened, because people are completely faded up. Since 2008, what has he exactly done? Look at the Venezuela. 2008, before, it was one of the richest nation in Latin America. Like, where does it stand now? It stands nowhere. And when I talk about the most criminal countries, you would find Venezuela is one of them. Inflation rate is approximately like skyrocketing day by day. And if you see the inflation, oh my god, I would not say this country is in inflation. Even I would say this country is in total hyperinflation. The two countries' indulgence of Mr. Maduro's may reflect domestic pressure. The landslide focus movement in Brazil, part of Lula's base, was quick to, like congratulate Mr. Maduro's and denounce the oppositions as fascist, a wing of Morena. Yes, wants to congratulate Mr. Maduro too. A former Mexico diplomat says that their country's ambassador in Caracas, in Maduro's, like sympathizer. He is very leftist activist, they added. Amid all this, like maneuvering, a crucial question is how the army's calculations will change. That is the main questions. Do you think that army will interfere into the selections and the conflicts between Mr. Maduro and Gonzalez? So far, its leadership has fiercely defended Mr. Maduro. On August 5th, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Mercado published a letter asking the army rank and file to stand by the people and promised that an opposition government would offer guarantees to those who complete their constitutional duties. In response, Venezuela's attorney generals opened a criminal investigation into both of them. Since the elections, the regime has promoted soldiers wounded in the protest and released social media campaign that depicts the Venezuelan National Guard under the slogan "To doubt is treason." So the main important thing is here, look at that. When Gonzalez and Mercado published an open letter on social media where they urged the army to just get into this conflict, then what happened? The prosecutors filed a case against both of them. So look at that. This Maduro is not only controlling common people, not only playing with the emotions of common people. If they don't give a vote to this particular person, they would have been ending up by killing themselves. Not only that, but somewhat he is also controlling the whole parliamentary system, controlling Supreme Courts, and many more things in this nation. Venezuela faces stunts, or whether the soldiers believe him. That will be the biggest question to be raised now. So guys, I hope you have understood what's going on in Venezuela. And next time we will try to understand this topic more perfectly if Venezuela will be on news ever. So let's see whether this government is going to stay in power or Mr. Maduro will have to resign from his post. So I am leaving you with some, like you can say, mysterious questions, which is, what do you think about Venezuela, and what do you think what will happen with Venezuela in upcoming 2 years if Mr. Maduro does not